Hey, Anime Addicts, no fun ad read today because Mitsugi was lazy all weekend, but you know we appreciate you over here at the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, and if you want to help out the show the way we aim to help you out with your anime addiction, you can head over to aapodcast.com/join our Patreon like so many others have and support the podcast. You'll be doing a good thing. You'll help us make sure we can keep running, and we'll keep bringing you lots of fun content. Again, that's aapodcast.com/join our Patreon. Thank you very much. And now, time to start the podcast.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at aapodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 618 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. My name is Mason and I am the host on this wonderful early morning. Oh my goodness, I just looked over and everyone's got sunglasses on except for me. Where are you getting sunglasses from? What's happening here?
Why don't you have sunglasses on, Mason? Why don't
you
have them ready?
I didn't get the memo, and I'm sad. I'll get it during the news break.
Mason, there was no memo. We are just on the same wavelength.
Naturally
we thought
cool.
you were on that wavelength, but I guess you're not cool enough.
Everyone knows March 13th, 2022 is Geist Day, and we should have all been prepared for this. I'm blinded
Today's Geist
by
Day?
your guys'. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Geist Day. No, it's not.
Is it? Oh, it's not. Oh, you're making that up.
I am. Those were the voices of the two co-hosts that graciously allowed me to, upon a last-second wedding invite, mess up the entire plan of our usual 5 p.m. Twitch live stream for a 12 o'clock one, especially on the day of daylight savings, rolling the clocks forward. So a really big thank you to the two hosts who are way cooler than me for multiple reasons, as we've discussed. Let's introduce them. First up, we got Caroline wearing a pair of, I don't know,
Hello.
Does Versace make sunglasses? I don't know.
I don't know.
They
They're
do, for
premium
sure.
quality.
Definitely.
So
I
Definitely
wouldn't
do.
say they're premium, but they are good sunglasses. So you got this last minute wedding invite. Does that mean like you're like the B list or C list or what?
No, it was I didn't make friends with this group of people until like long after they've planned their wedding. And they were like, oh, like we'd love to invite you, but we already had like all the seats filled and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, that's cool. No big
that's
deal.
nice.
And then, lucky for me, I think, someone, like, let them know, like, Friday, like, I can't make the wedding. I'm sick with something. They're like, hey, we got a seat that opened up for you, so I'm gonna march on over to a wedding. And
Well,
Louis
that's
the Cat
cool.
in chat says, Mason finds out it's his wedding. Oh, I'm the... I can't wait to be the bride. It's really a dream of mine since youth. But, yeah, that's the story of why I'm... leaving you guys early today, so thank you.
It feels like we are extra early because typically this would be 11:15 in the morning. Right now we are at 12:15 because, daylight savings, but especially early.
Exactly, and at 10:15, bright and early, that's maybe why he has these sunglasses on, to hide his massive hangover. We have Mitsugi making funny eye faces with his eyebrows, so how's it going?
Well, Mason, there's 106 miles to Animeville. We've got a full tank of gas, have a pack of cigarettes. It's dark out, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it, baby.
Does Caroline know what that's a reference from?
No.
Isn't that Blues Brothers?
Who are you? Okay, sorry.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad that most people listen to this so they can't see the shame and despair of me not wearing sunglasses. But all of you guys who are on Twitch right now at Twitch TV/AA podcast, you know how I'm dropping the ball here. But thank
Mason,
you for hanging out. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I got to say this before we get out of the intro. What really happened to your wedding was 4 other people canceled. They said, we got 6 plates full of food now that no one's going to eat. Who in the world could eat 6 plates of food? I got it. It's Mason.
We can only call on one man. They put the Mason signal up in the sky, which is just like a knife and a fork crisscrossed.
Call the ringer. We got to get the food. We got to get rid of this food.
All I know, literally the only thing I know about this wedding, I don't even know the people's names getting married. All I know is that they will have churros for dessert.
Wait, so you're going to a wedding of people you don't know?
I've met them once.
Fantastic.
I thought you said you were friends with. Oh, so you're like, are you friends of friends with them? And that's
Yeah,
what
friends of friends. So,
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, speaking of friends of friends, be
You're
our
wedding
friend.
crashing.
Indeed. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on TikTok. But most importantly, if you really want to be our friend, don't go to Facebook. I mean, you could. It's fine. But go to Discord. That's really the place to find us and talk to us and hang out with us and watch anime and talk anime and do all that nerdy stuff that we love so much. So yeah, there's that. But actually, we do do a podcast, and we should probably start getting into that.
We do?
Our main topic today, allegedly, is diamonds in the rough. This was a listener request or idea that came about on Discord
Very
mere
recently.
days ago, and we're like, let's do that. So we're easily influenced people, so we'd love to have your influence upon us, as well as the return of a classic game that everyone knows and loves. Does Mitsugi's mom know? Finally, we have a review of the long-awaited Komi Can't Communicate. So
Wow.
we got a stacked
What a
show.
show.
So anything else before we jump into it?
Yeah, I want to say I do appreciate everybody who supports the podcast. But if you don't have any money that you can support us with and get our extra content, that's fine. You could also tell a friend about us, or you could leave a just glowing review on wherever you listen. That would be helpful too. But
Do your anime addict duty and tell
yeah.
people to watch the show.
That's right. Just we love money. Money's great, but that helps pay the bills. But having a bigger audience helps pay the bills too. So we appreciate you.
How you
That's
get those premium sunglasses? We only had enough money for 2 hosts to have sunglasses.
It's the best that Target
If
has to
only
offer.
we had the I know we were talking about having the merch store, but unfortunately that's kind of just going sideways. If only we had one that we
Wow.
can just hand out the Anime Addicts Anonymous sunglasses.
Exactly.
We have a person on Twitch for the first time says they've listened to us to every episode of the podcast 3 times since episode 1.
Why?
Yeah, we have demented your brain. I'm so sorry.
I hope they signed up for the extra episodes.
Yeah. Well, yes, of course. All right. Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
Way too loud. I am sorry.
Oh my God.
Caroline is deaf.
This was a surprise.
Jesus, I'm
It was
sorry.
like those deep fried memes where it's like super pixelated and blown out. So I should make an edit of this video with that. As soon as it drops, just everything gets super funky.
Caroline gets blown out of her chair. The sunglasses fly across the room. All right. So
Exactly.
this is going to be quick. Universal Studios Hollywood is going to be opening a Super Nintendo World in 2023 to go along with the Super Nintendo World that is in Osaka probably. So you will be able to go to California now, which is a lot easier to do than going to Japan, especially since Japan is still not open. That's about it. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to make a note of that. It sounds cool. I'm in Denver. That's like a 1-hour flight from pretty much anywhere in California. And you can now go to Super Mario World. There were some of the stuff that they've put in Japan that you might find in the one in the United States as well is a Super Mario Kart ride. Of course, they'd have a Mario Kart ride. Yoshi's Adventure, and visitors that go to the park will be given a magnetic power-up wristband that will allow visitors to interact with different attractions throughout the park, including hitting question mark blocks. And the wristbands also keep score of your coins and stars that you collect throughout the day. And there's a ranking board in the park in which you can see what your rank is on collecting coins, which I think is super cool. That may not actually happen in California, but they did it in Tokyo. So if they use similar sorts of designs and concepts, you'll be getting something like that. But even if it's not exactly the same, I'm sure it'll be comparable. 2023, baby, let's go! Podcast trip.
It's exciting.
We could do a podcast trip for sure, though I have never wanted to actually take banana peels and toss them at people so badly in my life. Do you think people will do that?
And then look
because
like
in Japan, they're good, they're respectful. But in America, nobody cares. I'll just go into this place with a bag full of banana peels and just drop them during the cart race, and they would be effective, I think, for the first time ever.
And I think they would kick you out too for being banana
I think it would
peels.
be worth it.
onto the
I think it'd be worth it. But yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. We can compete.
All right.
One of our many trips that we always talk about taking, but
Exactly. But this
we
one's
never
actually
do.
feasible.
Next up.
Yeah, it's more feasible. Okay, so I heard that the library of Makoto Shinkai films released under the Comics Wave label will be released by G-Kids on home video later this year. So this includes The Place Promise in Our Early Days, 5 centimeters per second, Children Who Chase Lost Voices, and Voices of a Distant Star. So you'll be able to someday, I believe later this year, get them on home video. So if you are looking to complete your collection of anime movies about two people in love, star-crossed lovers, distanced by time and space, then this is definitely good news for you. I believe they already released and distributed Weathering with You when it came out before. So, yeah, that's good news if you are a fan of Makoto Shinkai.
Do you know if Garden of Words has already been released or anything?
So I tried to take a look at what if what they have already released through G-Kids, and I think of all those things I just mentioned with Weathering with You and those 4 movies that are now going to be on home release, I think that's all of them, at least through this. I'm not entirely sure how all these kind of things work regarding legalities and who would be able to release them, but as far as I know, G-Kids only has those 5 properties to release.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I definitely am a fan of Guardian of the Word, so that would be a cool one to see released. But maybe it already is.
I love foot fetishes. So I had to.
And with the fetishes, apparently. Oh, did you just lick the nozzle?
Listen, as much as I love Makoto Shinkai,
Ew.
I love. Listen. I got a cough.
Okay. Oh, well, we need to explain that you now have a can of whipped cream in your hands to whip cream your coffee or whatever. But do you want me to wear a
whipped cream bikini? I'll do it. I'm just crazy enough at 10 o'clock in the morning.
As long as you lick the nozzle. I am all for shooting whipped cream into your mouth from the can. But you cannot lick the nozzle. Oh, God. I'm going to tell Pancake on you. That's freaking disgusting.
Pancake doesn't care. Pancake doesn't care. Listen, people stick the whipped cream can all the way down. Like, we used to have this German Shepherd. Everyone loves whipped cream. Whipped cream is a favorite dessert addition across the planet. Whipped cream is amazing. You know what? Fuck it.
That's what happens when we do the hentai episode first thing in the morning.
It takes to the head.
Saucy.
Yeah, Pancake says don't put it in your asshole again. You know, a long time ago, I had a German Shepherd live whipped cream. I would just stick the whole can and half my arm down his throat and just fill his whole throat and mouth full of whipped cream. But I am having coffee as well. Colombian Supremo, baby. It's the morning. Come on, you gotta live. Oh, there's no tequila in here yet.
I'm still amazed that you guys have sunglasses at your desk. Why do you have sunglasses there?
It's just where I keep them.
I'm just crazy enough to do it.
You know, on our Discord, we have the Caroline Astonished emoji or whatever. We need to now have a what's it called? What's the guy called with the glasses? MD Geist. Yeah. Oh my God, Mitsugi, what are you doing? We need to have a Caroline MD Geist astonished emoji now because I just need it.
We did. We can definitely make that.
What can you?
This is wild.
You're being too much. This is too much.
Oh, I don't want butter shot
on a Sunday.
I don't want butterscotch shots in my.
This is a man who is hours away from getting blessed with the grace of Elden Ring, and he's just getting obliterated.
Pancake just licked a pile of whipped cream off my bald head, and now I'm putting
do you have an OnlyFans? Because I feel like you need one now.
Tequila drizzle on top of my whipped cream. Yeah. Get it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Give it to me. Yes. No. It's so good.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Podcasting
this is the kind of content you come for, and this is why you go to Patreon. And if we're able to receive 10 more Patreons by the end of this episode, one of you will get to come to my house and lick whipped cream off of my head just like Pancake just did.
We'll give you a 10-second head start when we have the podcast meetup in Super Nintendo World. How about that?
All right. Who is up? I don't know what's going on here.
I'll go real quick. As you might have heard, Toei Animation was hacked. They announced on Friday, March 6th, that an unauthorized third party has accessed the company's network, resulting in the suspension of part of the systems of everything that they do. As they investigate the matter, they have announced that The hack will affect the broadcast for One Piece, Dragon Quest, Delicious Party Creature, and the Digimon Ghost Game anime. So it's not just it's kind of moderately serious and a major bummer, my dudes.
Not
So,
Dragon Quest.
not Dragon Quest, the show that we were supposed to review a year ago, and it just keeps on coming out with more episodes, and we're like, oh no, this was a mistake.
I love Dragon Quest. I love
Episode 1 of that was super cool.
Slime Tower.
I have not followed up with it.
King Slime, for those of you on Twitch. King Slime, right here.
Really, this whole podcast is just for the Twitch people.
Slime Knight, right here. Slime Knight. Yeah, Dragon Quest is my jam. See, Final Fantasy abandoned its roots a long time ago, but Dragon Quest has remained strong for an equal amount of time, and I appreciate that because I'm old, and I don't want my video games to change.
There we go. We take that. And there's a new JoJo Bizarre Adventure fighting game, so yay for that. Anyway, do we want to get to our main topic?
Sure.
Let's do it. So this is Diamonds in the Rough, suggested by Mochi Mochi, and they write, what are some shows with a MAL score under 7 that are worth watching? As we all know, because of how people tend to score shows, they can't all be Masons, they can't all be grouchy people who hate everything in the world. A score under a 7 on MyAnimeList is kind of a black mark. It's probably not well beloved, but you know, there might be some winners that have those scores that are maybe still worth your time, and we're going to try to see if we can give you some recommendations so you can fulfill your anime elitism cred and watch some stuff that no one really likes, but might be good.
Yeah, the average on MyAnimeList for an anime is probably around a 7.2 or 3, I would say. But it's like very tightly clustered there. I mean, I don't think there's much deviation. Pretty much everything falls between almost every anime is between a 6 and an 8.3, I'd say. So if you're below a 7, people think you suck. But that's not always the case. People are just wrong sometimes. And we're here to let you know about that.
Indeed. At least try to tell you some ones that are worth checking out, especially if you've just gone through the list and you've done all the best ones and you're like, oh, what should I watch next? Give one of these a shot. So
take some notes, baby. These are good. Yeah, these are good anime that you just threw away because you didn't think they were going to be good because MyAnimeList said it wasn't good. But they're wrong sometimes.
Exactly.
So take some notes.
Well, would you like to lead us off, Mitz?
Yeah, so I love this anime. I've talked about it a couple hundred episodes ago on the podcast. I've been meaning to show it to Pancake because I had such a large amount of luck with Initial D. And that is Gura Zeni, probably the most underappreciated anime that, in my opinion, came out way back in 2018. A measly 11,000 people have rated it, have marked it as viewed on MyAnimeList, which is 11,000 is really low. I mean, that's super low. I mean, an average anime is going to get like 6 to 7 times that many viewers. It has a 6.3 on MAL. And Gura Zeni is the story of Natsunosuke Honda, who's a pro baseball player and a relief pitcher who plays for a team called the Spiders, and he's kind of a veteran player. But this is really like a Moneyball sort of anime. I think literally it's translated as Moneyball, Money Pitch.
Like Money Pitch or something, yeah.
And it really focuses a lot on the aspects of baseball that people don't think about often when you're watching anime. So usually it's about the characters, it's about like, winning, it's about, like if you're watching Big Wind-Up, it's about strategy. But this is about like all the stuff you would think is boring, like negotiating your contracts, how a player's performance affects their negotiating tactics. That guy that sits in the stands that has like the clipboard and he's writing down all of the statistics during the baseball games, and there's a lot of those people. This anime is for those people. This is very much a show that's about, like, at the end of season 2, Honda he negotiates his like contract extension, and they talk about like all the stuff he did in the course of the 2 seasons that let him have more like bargaining chips. And this fucking show just has like these little characters they introduce, like the guy that's like fighting for his career, and he has to like pitch better, and Honda kind of narrates and talks about like the logistics of that, and then when they're not playing baseball, Honda goes to his little like izakaya, where the one girl character that he has a crush on that is just
Banda X Yuki.
Is that her name, Yuki? Yeah. And she is so cute, and he just loves her, and it's just adorable. Like, and then she'll come and like watch him play, but she roots for the opposite team. And he like hits one of their pitchers, and she gets mad at him, and he just has like a meltdown. It's a great show. At least for me, I think people should give it a shot. It doesn't look great really, but at least the pitching animations look good. Like it's all rotoscoped. It looks pretty good. It looks fluid. But Good as Any is a pretty neat show that no one really watched. And the score came up though. It was in the 5s for a long time. As I recall, when we first reviewed this, it was like a 5.5, and I was like, God, people hate this anime, and I gave it like a 9.
It's your thing though. It's just right up your alley.
Yeah, and now it's got like middle 6s, so I think people have like come around on it a little more. But I recommend Good as Any for sports fans, and this would have been a great one for Caroline to watch prior to her interview with the sports, because this one really gets into like the nitty gritty of like things. So,
it wouldn't have really made a difference, I think, but in terms of that one interview. But maybe it's because people were really expecting, the typical sports show and that kind of thing, that they were surprised by the fact that it's more about the serious behind the scenes stuff, that they just automatically said, wait a minute, this is not a sports show. This is boring. So I'm going to give it a 3, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Honda does not put like on an idol girl outfit and dance in the middle of the field every time he strikes somebody out. But wow, and the next anime,
Orange for that.
The next anime I have seen, but I hadn't reviewed it yet on Mal, so now I have. So that's interesting.
Wait, my show? Your show? What are we talking about?
Your show, Mason, that you're going to talk about here in 10 seconds. I hadn't reviewed it yet.
One.
Yep.
Is Wake Up Girls? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was first on my list with a score of 6.98, so
wow,
it's close to 7. Hey, it's under 7, I'm taking it. So
it's not the closest your list will get.
No,
anyway.
It's not. We're gonna inch even closer. But so Wake Up Girls is an idol show, and as you might or might not know, I'm not really into idol shows. I mean, I do like Zombieland Saga Revenge and Review Starlight, and they're great, but they're not like quote unquote like pure idol shows like Love Lives, Bang Dreams, Idol Master, stuff like that, So Wake Up Girls, or WUG, which is just a super fun way to say it.
Is Wake Up Girls too long?
I just like saying WUG.
WUG.
WUG is Pog, boys, and it's definitely my favorite of the batch. It is way more grounded and less like saccharine and sweet than your typical idol show. And it tells the story of a group who are struggling, and they just get the worst luck at the beginning, and they kind of have to fight to dig themselves out of the hole in debt and build themselves back up. And it's just one of my favorites of that series, or styles, I should say. And I get that people might not like it because it does have some of those classic wonky CG performances, and it has like an opening plot that might be a little difficult to digest unless you watch, as I recommend, the prequel 52-minute movie, which kind of is like episode 0. But if you just jump into this and you're like, wait, what's going on? You can be a bit more confused. So that might have thrown some people off with the taste. And I'm surprised that it's rated this low because, yeah, it's not cute and fun like all the others, but it does have those moments. It does have that, inspirational story, and it has some good songs. So of all the like pure idol shows, I love Wake Up Girls, and I recommend people check it out if you want to try to see what that style is all about.
All right.
Yeah, Wake Up Girls. Sorry, Wake Up Girls is interesting because it really shows you the difficult times behind the scenes of being an idol. So, but season 2 was dog shit.
I didn't even watch season 2 because I heard such things.
It was horrible.
So I just watched the movie in season 1, and I was content with that. So
smart man.
There you go.
Smart man for not wearing sunglasses.
I'm still bummed, and I can't go get them.
And listen, I took off my sunglasses because they were getting a little bit uncomfortable with the headphones and stuff. So at least you are normal now. Anywho, so with my list, as much as I love this topic, I actually have not really seen a lot of shows that were under 7s that I could see myself somewhat recommending. So I only have a couple things on my list. So even so, I can definitely see why people will rate it lower than others. So take my list with a grain of salt and listen to Mason and Mitsugi for this topic. One of the things on my list is Happy Sugar Life. And if you've never heard of this show before, the show is about... Okay, the show is about basically insane high school girl that comes across like a little girl, and she's like 8, 9, whatever. And she is like, I can't exactly remember the whole premise, but she brings her into her home and treats her like the best big sister as she could possibly be. She is in love with this cute little girl, as most people are in this show. Everybody loves this cute little girl to an obsessive standpoint. It is a lot. Gets very uncomfortable in parts. People are not great people in this show. And yet, I just loved the insanity of it. It was one of my guilty pleasures. And the theme song, the opening is pretty great, as I must say. And overall, I can see why people might not like it. But if you are looking for something insane and just weird and honestly, it was a little bit fun too, I would recommend it. It came in at a 6.83 on Mal.
I like weird.
I
know
fun.
You do, Mitsugi.
Actually, no, I lied. I don't like fun.
I don't know if I can call it fun.
It's probably just like campy, silly watch where you're just like, what am I watching?
Yeah. It's like campy insanity, I guess you might want to call it.
That's a good way to put it, I think.
So I was just going through and I was updating my reviews on MyAnimeList because there's a lot of shows that I haven't bothered to put on here yet that we reviewed the last 6 months. And I typed Aquatrope into the search bar.
Oh, God.
And it found it. What do you think about that? It knew what I meant.
I mean, isn't that all communication is? Even if you say it incorrectly, as long as the message is received, doesn't that count? Isn't that what it's all about? We know what you mean.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm just making that argument because I mispronounce things constantly. So...
All right, well, this next anime is one that I've seen probably 20 times. It's an OVA. It's a very quick watch. It's only about 50, maybe less than an hour total. And honestly, I love these sorts of anime. I love OVAs. OVAs, they almost always look better. They're short, so they don't like take a lot of time. You know, like as you get older, people say like, "Oh, I don't want to play a video game that takes like 100 hours." Like, you know, like some people have kids, they don't have time. You know. And you don't have time to sit around for an hour and play a video game. You want to play a game that lasts for, 15 hours, or it has like short, where you can just play for 10 minutes at a time, put it down. OVAs are great for that because they're shorter, they look better, and you can kind of watch one before you go to bed at night and not have to worry about like taking up your whole day. And Kite, although I would not watch this before bed probably, Kite is a pretty neat anime that came out in 1998. And I've talked about the show a lot on the podcast, but not recently. And it is directed by the, infamous maybe Yasuomi Umetsu, who's done a lot of stuff, but not recently. Kite is the story of Sawa, whose parents get murdered and taken into custody by a man named Akai. And he's a detective, and he basically trains Sawa and another child who's a boy to be assassins and sends them around to assassinate, to basically be hitmen for people who have committed like terrible crimes. So there'll be like a child molester or whatever, and somebody will pay the detective to go kill him, and he'll be like, "Sawa, here's your next hit," and she'll go out and take care of him. And Kite, be warned, the uncensored version is a hentai. But it is a hentai for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I have no idea why. It's totally out of place. The scenes don't even like line up correctly. They just kind of just throw them in there for no reason. As a hentai, the scenes are decent as a hentai, but like I would recommend watching this censored. It makes more sense. And the action scenes in this anime are insane. They are extremely violent. They were like shocking when I was a kid how violent they were. I used to talk about Kite. I'd be like, "Oh my God, Kite is so fucking violent." Like they use these guns that have explosive bullets, and she'll just like put one in some guy's forehead, and then like you can just kind of see the bullet like start to light up inside of his fucking head, and then his head will just explode. Like there's all this crazy stuff in Kite. Some of the action scenes go like 5, 6, 7 minutes. They'll destroy like half a city block with just handguns. Like it's fucking crazy. some of the action scenes in this. So
is it Kite or Mezzoforte that has the scene of like her and the other person like falling through like 20 different levels of stuff?
that is Kite.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's such a funny scene.
It's
I
so
love that
crazy.
scene so much.
Yeah, there's a scene that's like the bathroom scene in Kite where they start fighting in like a bathroom, and like by the time the scene's over, it's been like 10 minutes and they've destroyed like half the fucking city. It seems like it's crazy.
It's so good.
It's so wild. So if you love action, if you love violence, if you want something that's weird and not very long, Kite is a good choice. It has a 6.5 on Mal, a little low in my opinion, but looks great. Sound has really like juicy like weird jazz music. Like if you're into that kind of thing, you'll probably like it. So give that a try, and you might enjoy it. But definitely not for kids.
I'm trying to see if I can find the scene of it.
Oh yeah, it's about halfway through the first OVA.
I think go on YouTube, look up "Greatest Fall in Anime." It's like a 3-minute long video. It's like "Greatest Fall in Anime Kite 1998," and it's like from the Retro Crush page, and it's a pretty fun little thing. Anyway, I guess I will take. Go ahead.
I would just say don't watch the second. Do not watch Kite Liberator. It's terrible, and do not watch the Samuel L. Jackson live action movie. It is fucking horrible. Just skip all that. Just watch the original OVA. That's all you should be watching.
Yeah, I've only seen that in Mezzoforte. I haven't seen Liberator.
All right, Mason.
Once again, I'm a smart man. Well, I will take a cue from Mitsugi and jump down my list to my OVA that I recommend with a 6.11. Bottom of the basement score here. We have
bad.
Bao the Visitor. This is a 46-minute OVA by Studio Pierrot, and this is based on a manga, a very short manga by an obscure little mangaka named Hirohiko Araki, who did a little show called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And Bao the Visitor is also extremely gory. Think of like Akira plus RoboCop together. And it's really just, it's such a cool visual feast of, like, this movie pops off, just like many of the characters' heads in it, because it's kind of violence for violence sake. It has a hilariously bad dub, and it's kind of fun to see, like, the origins of, like, the super beefy men that would go on to become part of JoJo. There isn't, like, superpowers and stands in the same way. It's very much just let's shoot and rip and punch and kick people's faces off. And that's what it does for 46 minutes. And the story and the characters are all like super simple and nothing special, but just being an OVA with some bit of budget behind it and kind of a throwback to the era that it's from is a neat time. So if you want to throw something on to kind of just laugh at it with the lads, Bao the Visitor is quite the experience.
I looked it up on Retro Crush because I've seen a lot of stuff on there from that late 80s period, and it's not on there. So that's really disappointing. Retro Crush needs to get more stuff on their service. They seem to be having problems getting content on there. It's because I turn that thing on like 4 or 5 nights a week because I just want to watch something that's weird, and I just run into the same stuff all the time. I really think they haven't done a good job of like procuring more stuff to put on their service, but I'm hoping that'll change.
Yeah,
you should write them a letter.
Maybe I will.
So I'm just added a couple more things to my list because now I think about it, I'm like, I might as well talk about them, even if I can't exactly highly recommend it. Then if I don't have anything on my list, then I'm just gonna be like letting you guys talk all day. So in a similar vein to Happy Sugar Life, I would like to talk about Angels of Death because it is also a campy insanity watch that it was my guilty pleasure when it came out. It has a 6.95 on Mal, and it is based on a video game, I believe, about a girl that wakes up in this place. It's it's like a an underground place with like different floors, and the higher you go up on the floors, eventually you'll reach the surface. She just shows up in this place, and then she finds out that her parents are dead, and that makes her lose her will to live and basically wish death upon herself. So she would like to commit suicide, but she can't because she's fairly religious, so she doesn't want to do that. But she does meet in this place. There's a whole lot of very interesting in serial killers, I guess you might call them. And one in particular, his name's Zach, and he would really Isaac, but they call him Zach. He would love to kill her. Like, he just wants to kill her so damn badly. But then she loses her will to live, and then suddenly he doesn't want to kill her anymore because, you know, that was his MO.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, it's no fun.
Yeah, that was his MO. He wants to kill people like that are happy. So now that she is dead inside, he doesn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, fuck.
So basically, they make a deal. If Rachel, the character, she's very smart, and Isaac is definitely not. If she can help him get out of this place, then he will kill her. That's the deal. And that's basically where the anime goes. They form a weird, very strange friendship. Isaac, for being a serial killer, is somewhat enjoyable to watch. I think he's voiced by the same guy who's voiced Bakugo in My Hero Academia, so very similar characters. And overall, they meet a lot of, as I mentioned, insane people that love to kill, torture, and they have to get around them. They have to solve puzzles. You learn about Isaac's backstory, and I still did not quite understand what this place was by the end. And it is a little bit strange, Isaac and Rachel's relationship, because it kind of seems a little bit romantic, but he's like in his 20s and she is 13, so...
I'm in my 40s and she's just 16.
Is that a song?
No, it's a line from GTO, the dub.
Oh, okay. Another reference. But overall, it was, once again, a guilty pleasure. You might want to play the video game more than the show. I don't know. I've never played it, but check it out if you are interested.
And that was Angels of Death.
Yes.
Wow, Caroline coming in with the obscurity. I like it.
Well, because really, these are all just so random shows that I just happen to watch. You guys have watched far more than I have, and far more short shows that you might not have wanted to watch in the first place, and then you ended up liking it and put it on the list. So, yeah, that's the difference.
I just added like 25 more shows to my anime list, so I'm still way behind
Like
Mason,
what?
but this is a bunch of just a
shows
bunch
that
of
you have completed.
Yeah, like I didn't have like Heike Monogatari or Tact Op Destiny or Jobless Reincarnation. Like I hadn't put any of the stuff we've reviewed like from the last 2 seasons in there. So I just adding a bunch of stuff. So still way behind Mason, but
you're trying to lead me into a false sense of superiority, and then you're gonna sneak up behind. And
I'm trying to get to the 1,000 anime club. You know, I'm not there yet.
Ooh, there you go.
You know,
the quadruple digits is a nice feeling.
I think I'm getting it. I'm close to like 800. I'm getting there, but you know, I'm still just a little babe in the woods. So I will get there though someday. Next up is an anime that is on Retro Crush. I really want to watch it with Pancake. I want to buy an anime cell of it. They're really expensive though, and that is Iria Zerum the animation, which is a pretty. You know what? It's this anime's got a on my anime list. It technically has a 7.0, and I was like, well. That's awfully close. So I went to AnimeList and it had a 6.4. So I was like, okay, I'll throw this on there. So I'm calling it a 6.4. And this anime, I promise you, is not even close to a 6.4. It is way cooler than that. It's from 1994, which is kind of like a weird period for anime. Like you always hear about, for me, it's always like late 90s, early 2000s, late 1980s. Like all these weird anime come out of like the late 80s. The late 90s, like you got the Bebops, you got the Bubblegum Crises, like all these, but it's like, what the fuck came out from like 91 to 94? Like I feel like I've seen a lot fewer anime from that little stretch of time, but Iria is one of those. It's about this super badass chick whose name's Iria, and she is sent, well really she kind of like weasels her way onto like the bounty hunting mission with her brother Gren to investigate like all these people that got killed on this cargo ship. And you find out that the cargo ship is carrying a cargo that they should not have been, which was a like galaxy-wide wanted criminal named Zerum, who's kind of like he's basically an alien, and he's known to be immortal, basically. And, you know, the mission goes poorly because Zerum's there, and he's unkillable, basically. And it just, like, kicks off this like, romp through, like, sci-fi, like, planets and whatever, where Iria is constantly being pursued by Zerum, and honestly, this anime is better than a 7 just because of the animation. The designs are super fucking cool. The concept is super interesting. The first episode is totally engrossing. It is so neat, like all the little flying machines and all the weapons they use. It's like stuff you don't see often. It's like you're watching this setting that feels totally unique from anything else you've seen. And I wouldn't watch the live action. It's really bad. But Iria is there in the animation is super cool. Iria is a badass chick. She's super hot. She's just got it all. I want to buy an anime cell of her, but like it's like a face. I'm into like face shots, and like they're like $500+, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. I can't really be splurging for that, but Iria is definitely neat. It's on Retro Crush. I think it's on YouTube as well, so check it out. The dub is pretty decent. It's not like perfect, but it's watchable, and you won't regret it. And it's got a fucking really neat opening theme song. I can't even describe like what genre of music the theme song is, but it's super like recognizable because it doesn't sound like much else. There you have it.
Yeah, it's a super aesthetic show.
Yep.
It's cool.
All right.
I'll go with another one. You were talking about what Gurzeni had 11,000 people that rated it.
Yeah, no one likes that show. Yeah, 11,000.
Here's a show if you really want pure elitism cred. With a score of 6.99, technically under 7, and only 386 people have rated this show.
Oh my god.
We have Tree in the Sun, or Hidamari no Ki. I actually found out about the show from our Does Mitsugi's Mom Know participant today. So
oh, wow.
I wasn't even the one to discover it. But this is 25 episodes long, so it's not some like obscure random like OVA that came out of nowhere. This is from Madhouse, so kind of a big studio, but this is one of Osamu Tezuka's stories based on the life of Tezuka's real life ancestors. I've talked about the show I don't know how many tens of episodes ago, but it centers around the lives of two men who are struggling to come to terms with life in the period of the Meiji Restoration. We have a doctor who is trying to save people from, get this, smallpox with a highly scandalous and illegal practice of using Western medicine, aka giving people vaccines, which is seen as like heathenistic and is like chased out by like the ruling class of, Eastern practices of how things should be done or ought to be done, and like, interfering on the sanctity of Japanese systems or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of cool. So you kind of have a fighter samurai boy who is just is kind of an idiot, but he tries his best. And you got the smart doctor who's a womanizer and is gallivanting across the town. And it's kind of their stories just as they weave together and separate and as they grow and develop. And it's just kind of a cool show. It's from the 2000s. It's not very, very like visually striking or strong, but it kind of fits the mood because it is supposed to be a more somewhat realistic period piece. Think of like House of Five Leaves plus like Blackjack, and it's a long show and the characters are really pretty solid. There's a big focus on someone's butt, like that butt and the way it looks like has actual relevant plot points, which you really don't see. And it's kind of neat. It's not for everyone. It's a little slow, but if that sounds like your cup of tea, Tree in the Sun is a pretty interesting watch.
Wow.
All right.
That's a super deep. That's like a deep pick right there.
Yeah. People get mochi for getting the vaccine, which I think they should have implemented in our society today. But hey, we can't all be so forward thinking.
You get a slice of cake.
What's next? Yeah, exactly.
So the next one on my list comes in at a 6.59, the lowest of all the things I have on my list, but I think it's arguably the most interesting one on my list in terms of story and all that. We actually reviewed it not too long ago. I can't remember what episode. It was like back in December, I think. And it was Nighthead 2041. And I won't talk too much about it because we did review it not too long ago. But basically, it's about Japan and the world that it, the year that it's in has psychic beings, but the government tries to tell you no, they don't exist. They're all charlatans. They're all religious and fakes or whatever. So basically, everything that you can't prove is scientifically true is outlawed. So you Akira is outlawed in this show, and it's kind of fun. I really like the premise. It's a interesting premise. It's like an interesting dystopian world, and it has psychics and fighting and all that stuff. It doesn't look great. Well, in terms of traditionally what we would, find looking great because it is CGI. But honestly, it's not that bad looking overall. Not the worst CGI you've ever seen. Some of the shots even look pretty cool, I think. And overall, I enjoyed this show far more than, I don't know, you guys didn't really like it all that much, but I did. I enjoyed it. So I would recommend it. And even though it has like a 6.59, I do think it kind of deserves to be above Happy Sugar Life and Angels of Death, in my opinion.
Didn't we all give this the same score?
I don't remember.
Maybe I messed it up, but I have all of us giving it a 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Sounds about right.
I thought I don't know. I thought I
maybe I just mistyped it in there.
Maybe you're just thinking about it fondly. Maybe it's aged well in your mind.
No, I think I still think of it the same way as when I thought of it, or when we watched it. But I don't know. I kind of thought
review the tapes. We only have evidence of it. Let me know if I messed up anything.
If you want to learn more about it, Mason figured it out. We reviewed it on episode 604, so you can listen to that there.
It's always funny when you're like, oh, that was only 13 episodes ago. But when you consider that's weeks, you're like, oh, that was forever ago.
This is probably gonna be the last one that I'll do. I had another one on my list, but I talked about it already, not that long ago. Dot Hack Sign is my next one. Dot Hack Sign just slipped in there, 6.96 on MyAnimeList. Dot Hack Sign is an anime that it's really a franchise that has really spun off a lot of different types of content. It has many video games, and Dot Hack Sign is one of those. It's like, to me, it's the very first. It may not be the very first, but to me, it is the very first in the line of what has become pretty prolific MMORPG anime, where you get stuck in the game or whatever. The whole premise of Dot Hack is that this character named Tsukasa wakes up in this MMORPG called The World, and you get trapped in there. So there are people that can't log out or whatever of Dot Hack, I guess. And this was on TV for a while. It was on Toonami, or it was on Cartoon Network somewhere in there for a while. And this spun off a 4-part video game that I played all 4 parts of, and really think of it quite fondly, because it was the first time I played a game that was offline that tried to simulate you being online, and complete with a desktop with email inboxes, and you had a browser, and you could type in and search for things, and you would get emails that were fake, but they felt real sort of, because it looked like you were on a computer. And then you'd go in and you'd play this game, and it was a 4-part video game, so that you had to buy all 4 parts to finish the story. But it was a very interesting, unique experience, at least for me growing up, as an anime that came out of 2002. So I was in high school, and it's just an interesting show. Oh, and the music is fucking phenomenal. Dot Hack Sign has an S tier soundtrack.
That's often what I hear about the show the most for, is the soundtrack.
Yeah. The opening theme, Yasashi Yoake, is just by Seesaw. It's just I guess that's the ending theme. It feels like an opening to me. Obsession and Yasashi Yoake, the opening ending, were both done by Seesaw. And the show probably has, I'd say, a dozen or more sort of background music songs that they play during the show that are also fucking phenomenal. This is a really strong sort of anime. It has a great atmosphere to it. I can't say the same thing about Dot Hack Roots, which came out after that. But this is also an interesting property, because the actual game came with anime OVAs. So there's an OVA called Dot Hack Liminality, which not a lot of people probably have heard of, but it came out as literally with the game, inside of the jewel case for the game. This anime OVA was packaged with it, so you got a free OVA there with it. I think it was Liminality that it came with, but there is an anime that comes with the game, so pretty neat. Worth checking out. It's a little verbose, so the anime is a little talky, but if you watch the anime and you like it, I'd absolutely recommend you go get the PlayStation 2 game. And if you like part 1, go get part 2 and part 3 or whatever. So that's about it for me. Dot hack sign, pretty neat.
Yeah, I'll just pick one more as well. I've been meaning to check out Doc Hack, but I don't have the time. One day I will.
One day.
I'll go quick. I will pick another show, or movie I should say, that does not have as much love as it deserves, which is Princess Arete, or Arete Hime. It's got a 6.9, and this is a phenomenal movie by Studio 4C. It tells a very typical story of like a princess confined up in a tower, medieval sort of era and aesthetic, but it's just so solidly done. And I would say the first half of this movie is almost near perfect. It just looks so cool, it moves so cool. Everything that you expect is there. It follows the same story beats, but it's just done on another level. And I think you could watch it like with your kids. Like, it's very family friendly. It gets a little weird in the second half. But I still remember it being overall so wowed by the first half, and just watch it. It's only 2 hours of your life, and it's a pretty fun time. I'll shout out Galendino and Le Portrait de Petit Cosette as some other good shows under 7 that are worth watching. And Sing Yesterday for me. I know that's not for everyone, but I thought it was a pretty good romance. So watch everything I ever recommended, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, basically. So the last one on my list, it doesn't technically count because it has a 7.32 on Mal and a 7 on AnimeList. So no, it's not under 7.
I'll go rate it a 1 real quick to
yeah, sure.
I've never seen the show, but I'll do it just for you.
Okay, so this is not the typical show that people might think that I have watched, but it's called A Sister's All You Need. And yes, it is a sister show, technically. But it's basically all about, one writer in particular, but a group of writers. This one writer in particular has a sister fetish, so he loves writing light novels about sisters and, the inappropriate relationships with sisters. But even everybody tells him that he's way too obsessed with it. Like, he needs to branch off from this whole obsession he has and focus on something else other than that. Because, he is just trying to write good light novels, and he can do that if he just put his fetish in a box for a second and move on from it. But it's also about his other group of friends who are also writers, and their struggles of, their careers, and and they're all in different parts of their career. One of them's getting an anime that is having a little bit of difficulties with that, and so on and so forth. But overall, I think it's a really fun show. There is some fan service. One girl's constantly naked because she has to be in order to write well, apparently. But there's also...
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. But there's also a lot of fun interactions. Like, almost every episode, they get together and have a game night, and they come up with these really interesting storytelling game ideas that are just really fun to listen to and watch. And it was a great show for me to watch when it came out. So I haven't seen it in a while, but I would recommend it if you are, I am a prude, and if I can get behind the show, even with the constant nakedness of this one girl, the touching of boobs, and this guy who's obsessed with his sister. Well, he doesnn't have a sister that he doesn't know about, and that gets really weird. But if all that weirdness happens and I still enjoyed it, I think it's a pretty good show.
There you go. You heard it here, folks. Caroline likes the sister shows.
Okay, no, I don't. Just this one that I've seen. But yeah, I think that's the end of our topic for today, right?
Yeah, that was fun. Hopefully we gave you something to like, or maybe you guys are like, oh, I watched that show, and that's definitely deserving of a below a 7. And
yeah,
sorry to hear it, but let us know if you check them out. Let us know your suggestions in the Twitch chat, in the Discord, in anywhere that you want to share, because I'll check it out. I don't care. I'm always on the hunt for new things. So, yeah, thank you, Mochi Mochi, for the idea. And with that, let's get to our trivia.
Yes, so as many people who have seen Komi Can't Communicate know, these characters have some pretty weird names. They are often play on words. So, tell us, What does Tadano Hitohito's name mean? And we will reveal the answer coming up next.
Anime Addicts, Mitsugi's here, and I'm bringing you your anime news break. Starting off with a strange story about a man who used U.S. COVID relief money to buy Pokemon cards. The Department of Justice found that a man fraudulently applied for the COVID-19 disaster relief loan and got about $85,000. He used $58,000 of it to buy Pokemon trading cards. He was fined $10,000 in order to pay restitution of the loan's full amount. The Pokemon card in question, described by the Department of Justice simply as Charizard, was forfeited to the prosecutors. So, this goes to show you should not fraudulently apply for relief money that other people need and then buy Pokemon cards. You could have at least bought some Squirtles. You know, honestly, Charizard, kind of a cliche. We all know it's whatever. Moving on. Next up in the news, we have a lot of new anime announcements coming out. The manga Isekai One Turn Kill Nei-chan is getting an anime project subtitled as, very long title, One Turn Kill Elder Sister in Another World. I began living in another world with my elder sister. Just another amalgamation of the Isekai genre that we just can't seem to get away from. The comedy fantasy manga is adapting Konoe's web novel, which launched back in 2019. So if you are a fan of the Isekai One Turn Kill Nei-san, check out that anime when it comes out later on. Next up, another new anime adaptation, as promised. The manga Futoku no Guild is getting a TV anime, The Guild of Depravity. So this is based on a manga. The director is Takuya Asaoka of Kaifuku Jutsushi no Karinaoshi, and the director and the studio is going to be TNK. Who TNK has not done a tremendous amount of things, but they are known for such titles that people don't generally look fondly upon, such as Redo of Healer. So maybe we'll have another Redo of Healer to talk about. Next up, another new anime coming out. The Kinso no Vermeil TV anime is getting a release in 2022 in the summer, subtitled as Vermeil in Gold, a magician pushes through the magical world with the strongest disaster, which can only be described probably as an isekai based on the long title. Scheduled to release in July this year. The director is Takashi Naoya of Val X Love, and the studio is Staple Entertainment, who has not done a tremendous amount of things because this is the only thing that they've done. So, pretty much a new studio. I don't know if this is an isekai, but I would not be surprised one bit. So there's lots of new anime coming out this year. We'll keep covering them on the news as they are released. But for now, this was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now time to get back to the podcast. You've burned through all your podcasts. There's nothing else to listen to. Boredom is coming, and you still have the whole afternoon left at work to get through. How are you going to get through this? Well, maybe you end up quitting your job, you can't afford your rent, and before you know it, you're on the street eating tuna out of a can with Henrietta over by the Piggly Wiggly and pooping against a tree by the Chick-fil-A on the corner. Listen, you could have avoided boredom, you could have kept your job and said peace out to Henrietta and her shitty tuna. If only you subscribed to the AAA Podcast's extra content, we would have carried you through that afternoon all the way to your warm bed with anime on the TV, with our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties. 8 extra exclusive episodes a month just for you for helping out the podcast. So special thank you. If you go over to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon, you can help us out, and we'll help you say peace to Henrietta.
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
So my next one is Island, which was not originally one of my top 5. It just kind of came into my lap because
I'm excited to hear about this.
Because like the way the pics fell out. One of the comments on my AnimeList, I think says this best. It is from a user, LightKita13, and he or she says, This island is about an island. The main character, Island, travels back in time to an island. He meets an island girl on the island named Island who sings about the island.
Yes.
On the island, he sexually islands another island girl named Island.
That's fantastic.
This island is about an island. The scenery features an island depiction of an island. The voice actors sound like islands and have islanders living on the island. This island is about an islander who needs islanders who go through Icelandic
I'm gonna choke.
problems on an island in the middle of an island. Everything about this island is so island. This island is about an island.
Sounds like a Steam review.
I am failing the shit out of the show.
Out of 5, how many islands are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give it an island within the island, in which making it not really an island at all.
Welcome back to the podcast. Oh, I'm feeling
I
very.
always love that review.
You know, since we're having tropical music here, I'm going to open up a tropical flavored monster to replace my
Where
my,
are
my
you?
coffee.
You're not on the screen.
Our Twitch screens are screwed up because we added another person.
Oh.
So
And he doesn't set up scenes like I demand he does. He's not an OBS wizard. No, it's okay.
no, I'm not a wizard. Anyway, so the in-show trivia question. The names of the characters in Komi Can't Communicate are often plays on words. What does Tada no Hito Hito's name mean? Oh, okay, well, interesting. It is a play on Tada no Hito, which means just some guy. Which is pretty
Yeah,
much
it's like that for basically all the characters. I think Osana Najimi means childhood friend or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty interesting stuff. So let's do the let's do the mailbag next because I don't think I have these audio clips loaded onto my soundboard yet.
Oh,
so
no.
I need to fix it.
You were not ready?
So let's
No.
move WavyF back into the. That's my bad.
Oh, sorry.
Let's move
Wavy.
WavyF
We'll be
back into the
back.
waiting
I'm
room.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
And I will frantically try to figure out how to fix this issue.
I'm sending him an apology message now.
Yeah, you can blame it on you can blame it on me, because I am the one in control of the soundboard, of course. So
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
mailbag.
Everything is chaos today. Everything is wild. Mailbags, good. You should submit them so you can have us read whatever it is that you write. You do that by going over to AAApodcast.com, click on the mailbag button at the top, and leave whatever it is your heart desires. This one comes to us from The Creepster, classic, I love that name, who writes, "Hey there, not sure if it was covered, but is there a show where there is no set protagonist? A show where it follows more than a group of there's no like I'm the main character sort of deal? Thoughts? Do you guys know of any? Mitsugi, or are you busy doing actual stuff?"
I'm busy and take your time.
Gotcha. I will stall for time. Shows without a like set main character. I would say recently, Farewell, My Dear Kramer is the girls soccer team one, which was A, kind of disappointing, but B, there wasn't any like, oh, this is the one that we're following who the team revolves around or is the linchpin of everything. It's kind of just like the entire team is the main character and it kind of ebbs and flows. And it's kind of nice. I really liked having not a central character that you were cheering for per se. Besides that, I would say Baccano and Durarara, two classic anime that most people have seen, which don't have a set. They kind of have a narrator, but they're not involved with the story so much. So you kind of are just left to watch all these wild characters just ping pong off one another without really a sense of, oh, this is what the show wants me to cheer about or who I
Yeah.
want to come out alive. So, yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I honestly had a hard time trying to think of anything that I've seen that would fit the bill. The closest that I could think about would maybe be Mushishi, because, I mean, Ginkgo is the main character. He's in every episode. He's the only character that is consistent throughout the show. But even then, he's kind of he does get involved in, like, the situations at hand, but I would say that the shows are more about the people he come across than Ginkgo, you know? But that wouldn't really fit your description very well.
That's close. Louis
That,
the
or
cat.
maybe, yeah, Kino's journey, maybe, because similar situation, but Kino tries to keep uninvolved throughout the entire time.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're going for. Louis the cat actually had a really good one with Junie Tyson, the 12 Zodiac battle royale type show, the Nisio Isin one, where it's the 12 people just battling to get their wish fulfilled, and you really have no idea who you should be cheering for. So that's actually a really good one that I completely forgot. So those are all good ideas.
Yeah.
Mitz is furiously. He took the sunglasses off, and now I'm the only one. I look like the blind man up here. And, it's okay. It's okay. We're stalling for time.
Are we still stalling for time, Mitsugi?
We're stalling for time. I'm gonna go into
Yeah,
the
I need about 2
mailbag
minutes.
thing right now. We're gonna do a live mailbag.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Let me go to. Oh my goodness, why is this thing not loading? What I'm looking at is hentai episode mailbags, which is a reminder that you guys can submit those if you have really spicy things that you want us to talk about that we can't do on the show. Let's see. Here's one. This comes from Raggedy Doctor. Hey AAA, I noticed that while you guys range the gambit from new to old material, you pretty much always give spoiler warnings, even if the show, we're not reviewing it, it's just like a joke or something. That's kind of a habit to avoid people from complaining, but what point would you say, Caroline, is it okay to not consider something a spoiler, just because of how long it's been out, how popular it is, as he writes, like, Krillin dying in Dragon Ball is kind of a meme and everyone knows it happens, so, like, do you still have to spoil that? Spoilers for Krillin dying? Or how early it happens in the show versus, like, oh, he dies at episode 1. Like, does that really matter?
It's hard to say, because with the show that might have, like, a big reveal at the end of the first episode, if it's in the first episode, a lot of people will say, like, oh, it's in the first episode, it's not really something you need to spoil. But if it changes your whole perception on what the show's going to be about within that first episode, I think it's worthy of a spoiler warning, just like a little bit. Like, if you want to go in blind, don't listen to this kind of thing. But then you also have things like Attack on Titan, where it's like twist after twist after twist after twist. It's kind of hard to talk about that show without having to spoil something. At this point, people should know that, like, oh yeah, Eren turns into a Titan. That used to be a massive spoiler that you can't tell people.
Still is.
But but now that it has 4 seasons out, and there are so many other things to spoil about that show, you kind of have to think about it in terms of, like, the lesser evil. You know, I could say so many things that would spoil the heck out of that show, but Eren turning into a Titan is no longer considered the thing that you need to keep a close lid on. So I think it's a matter of how many spoilers happen in the show, how long it's been out, and will it change your overall enjoyment, or, like, will it change your whole entire perception of that show?
I don't necessarily agree, but I agree with the sense of, like, who your audience is. So, like, we are doing an anime podcast. Assumably, most of you guys listening watch or enjoy anime, and then from that percentage, most of you guys have seen Attack on Titan. So the chance of us spoiling that Eren is a Titan is probably not a big deal at this point, because it's such a popular show, it's such a well-known thing, it happens so early that there's really no risk of it. But I still think you can talk about most shows without spoiling them, and when that's necessary to come up, it's just good practice to spoil. Though I do think 98% of the time, even when we do say spoilers, like, don't listen, like, skip this, everyone's like, I'm just listening, who cares? Like, I'll either forget about it, it won't be that big of a deal, or whatever. So I don't know why, but it just feels like it's not a bad idea to do sometimes.
I think you
I
should
also
just
think that if it's something that you can, like, with certain spoilers, I don't mind listening to them, because if they are so within context, and if you have not seen that show, you would not understand what this means, who these characters are, what this would mean for the entire show. It really doesn't even matter if you listen to it or not, because you'll probably forget about it by the time you eventually watch it.
Exactly. My sunglasses are, like, so crooked because of my headphones being broken.
I think you should just get good and watch every anime as soon as it comes out and quit whining like a sissy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. All right. Well, we are now ready for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? So
We're actually ready. We're gonna do this.
So
All
the
right.
questions
Well,
the questions have been recorded and we are ready to roll.
Hell
Gotcha.
yeah.
It's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? The game show that pits Mitsugi's unassuming mother against anime's most basic questions. Now here are your hosts, the Anime Addicts.
Whoa! It's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? The game show where my mother will be a wily coyote and will be very unpredictable in just how much she actually knows about anime. And on the phone, we have a lovely guest. Guest, please introduce yourself. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, so I am Waviev. My real name is Javier, and I'm from Boise, Idaho. That's my
Boise.
hometown.
Boise, Idaho. And your microphone sounds terrific.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Blue snowballs actually don't be too bad, I suppose.
I'm told that Boise, Idaho is blowing up right now. I actually considered moving there because it is the next hotness. Is that about right?
Dude. Yeah, the real estate is awful, though. We're like the second worst city per capita. So if you like your money, don't come over here.
Montana's looking
make
better
the
and better.
Pamphlets. You should make the visitors pamphlets.
Ooh, yeah, totally. Get people out of here.
All right, Wavy F. Well, you sound fantastic, and we are going to have a great show here today. We are going to play Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? I know you know the rules because you are a devoted listener, but I'm going to explain the rules for people at home. My mother, she has seen more anime than most people that are mothers, but sometimes she forgets the answers to easy questions, and sometimes she knows the answers to the strangest random stuff. You just never know, and your job is to predict whether or not she knows the answers to these anime questions, which have not been provided to you ahead of time. And if you get 3 out of 5 correct, you will receive $100,000, which will be enough to buy you a hammock in someone's garage in Boise, Idaho. So congratulations. And in Denver, that wouldn't even buy you a hammock. That would buy you you'd sleep in like the closet where the ironing board falls out of. That's where you would have to sleep. So,
Are you prepared to be sacrificed to Mitsugi's mom?
That's right.
Oh, I'm in it. I've been waiting to do this for years, dog. I'm excited. I'm ready.
Yeah, behind the scenes, he's been in the runners-up circle so many times, and it just constantly doesn't work. And I thought it was going to happen today for a second, but I'm glad to finally have you on board and give you a crack at this. You know, a prestigious Discord role is on the line, so...
Oh, I'm ready.
Do you have any strategies that you are planning to keep in mind as you play the game? Have you taken notes on what Mitsugi's mom liked?
Do I have like a binder full of past Mitsugi's mom? No, I'm no icy rose when it comes to cataloging. However, I'm gonna follow my instincts. Pure pathos, baby.
Follow your heart.
That's the rule. Exactly.
All right. Well, are you ready to play?
Uh-huh.
There will be no warm-up question this time, so get ready.
Good luck, lucky player. With me, it's you never know.
Truer words.
Which of the
have not
following is
said.
technically not a Ghibli film? Gato Senki, Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind, or Pompoko?
Oh, dude. I know it's Nausicaa, but I feel like, what is the first one? Geru Senki?
Gato Senki.
I've never heard of that one.
That's the Tales of Earthsea.
Oh, okay. Did you say it like in that form of a question when you said it to your mom?
I asked her if it
Tales
was.
of Earthsea?
I asked her if it was Gato Senki, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, or Pompoko.
Okay, I think Geru Senki, because it sounds very foreign. That's my guess.
So you think she doesn't know it?
I think she doesn't know.
In order for her to get this correct, she would have to say Nausicaa because that anime came out prior to Ghibli being formed. And you're saying she does not know that.
Yeah, so if she guessed anything besides Nausicaa, it will be her not knowing, and thus he gets the point.
All right, am I locking you in?
Yep, lock me in.
Which of the following is technically not a Ghibli film? Gato Senki, Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind, or Pompoko?
Gato Senki.
Sorry, that's not right. It's Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind.
Really?
Nice
Really.
thinking.
Oh yeah, my dude.
It's made by the same people. It's just too old. the movie's older than the studio.
Okay.
All right, good job. You have a correct answer. But listen, don't you get confident because many have fallen after being up 2-0 in the pitch count. So.
All right. I've heard many a time, so.
All right.
Not getting
I
caught
am a
anytime
fellow Does Mitsugi's Mom Know sacrifice, so and I
boy.
lost. So take it from me.
Are you ready for
All
question
right,
2?
right. I'm ready.
Which of Mitsugi's favorite classic video game characters does not have an anime series? Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man, or Spyro the Dragon?
I don't think she knows this one. Because it's crazy how many of those got an anime.
I was surprised how many Mega Man anime there are. There's quite a few.
Yeah, it's insane. There's a lot of manga too. So I'm gonna say she doesn't know this one either.
Okay. She does not know. Am I locking you in?
Yep, lock me in.
Which of Mitsugi's favorite classic video game characters does not have an anime series? Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man, or Spyro the Dragon?
Spyro the Dragon.
That's right. Uh-oh.
Damn.
Yo.
She just sniped you. She just, yeah. She was like, I'm going to remind you why this game is hard right now. All right. Well,
Reminder. Holy crap.
Well, so now we'll condense the game. You now need to get 2 out of 3 correct, which is not awful odds. And we wish you luck. Are you ready for question 3?
Absolutely.
All right, don't fuck it up. Spice and Wolf is finally getting a 3rd season. The main character, Horo, is an animal girl. What kind of animal is she? Now,
Is that
it's
a trick
literally
question?
it's literally in the title of the show, but
Yeah.
but that doesn't necessarily mean she will or won't know the answer. So
Never
She might
can
think too
tell.
much about it.
very excited
Right,
for Spice
right.
and Wolf season 3, by the way.
So if
Totally
she says cat girl, we're not accepting that. It's got to be fox.
It has to be wolf.
Well,
It
she's
has to be
a
the
wolf,
4-letter
actually.
word.
Yeah. It's
I think she does.
like no any similar thing is close enough.
I think she might know this one. I'm gonna go ahead and lock it. Yeah.
Oh, he's locking it in. All right.
Yeah.
She knows that Horo is a often drunk wolf girl. Spice and Wolf is finally getting a 3rd season. The main character, Horo, is an animal girl. What kind of animal is she?
She's a cat.
Oh, sorry, she's a
dude.
wolf. It's in the title.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Can't
like I
believe
knew.
it.
It's like I knew.
The trick question got her.
Yo, Mason, dude, what the heck? That's
Oh,
crazy.
does he have a lifeline by asking one of us what we think the answer is?
We've done that in the past, so if you want to ask a lifeline for one of these final questions, you certainly can. I can't guarantee that will help you, though.
Yeah. it
Okay,
usually does.
right on.
All right. Well, you
Man.
are now on the ropes. You have 2 strikes. Would you like to...
Wait, I thought you got. Oh yeah, never mind. You
nope,
messed
we
it
are,
up. Well,
we are one.
sorry.
We are 1 out of 3 so far.
Yep. We're killing it. We're killing it.
All right. Well, it looks like the Twitch chat is somewhat sympathizing with you. Would you like to try your luck with question 4?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, let's just give
Master
up.
Roshi,
Yeah, okay,
Goku's
goodbye.
first martial arts teacher in Dragon Ball, lives on what geographical feature? Were you able to hear that question?
Yeah, the geographical feature. I'm gonna go back to didn't know. I'm backpedaling.
Classic strategy.
Yeah, she does not know.
She does not know that Master Roshi lives on an island.
I do not believe so.
All right. I'll lock you in if you think that's what you want.
Yep, I think so.
Stop making him second think himself.
Terrifying.
It's like, did you just hear the news break where Enzo read the Island review where he said Island 20,000 times? Is that a sign? Is that a portent
right.
of what is to come?
I'm locking you in. You're sure?
Man, you're making me second guess myself. First instinct, I'm gonna say no. I'm still gonna say no.
Master Roshi, Goku's first martial arts teacher in Dragon Ball, lives on what geographical feature?
A cloud.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. It's an island.
No, it isn't. It's a cloud.
No.
If anything, I thought
Oh,
she was going to say
damn.
mountain.
A cloud is not a geographical feature, by the way. I'll just make a note of that. So yeah. All right. Well, we're down to the final question, as it always seems to be. Right. So it's this is it.
So intense.
This is for all the marbles. This is for your hammock and some guy's garage. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm pumped. Yeah.
Sailor Moon's cat companion Luna is what color?
She has to know this.
But when you think she has to know, it's always that she doesn't know. 'Tis the predicament. I'm gonna go again back to she doesn't know.
The game is always hard because I will always ask easy questions.
Exactly. I'm gonna lock in she does not know the color of Luna from Sailor Moon.
Do you know what color Luna is?
Yeah, black, right?
Luna is a black cat. All right. She does not know. Show me potato salad! Oh. Sailor Moon's cat companion, Luna, is what color?
Blue.
No, sorry, it's a black cat.
Holy crap.
Blue?
Oh.
What are you talking about?
The midnight blue. Almost black, if you will.
All right, well, you have one. Does Mitsugi's mom know? It is an amazing thing. The children, they are absolutely ecstatic with you. They are, oh, geez, throw some candy at them. Oh, they are losing their shit. Someone just took their pants off.
I shouldn't have doubted you. I had no idea what would come out of her mouth. I thought maybe black, as she is seen in most of the imaging for Sailor Moon.
Yeah, you
maybe
always
even
gotta
white
do
if
the
you were
opposite,
correct.
Yeah.
Blue?
Oh my god.
Are you
blue.
serious?
All right. Well,
you have a victory spiel as I change your role on Discord to Does Mitsugi's Mom Know Champion?
Dude, the rep, the Discord rep. I love it. Oh man, my spiel. I actually thought I would lose. I've heard so many people just like get completely zonked from this over like the many years I've been listening. So this is wild, dude.
Well, glad we finally got you on.
How many people succeeded in this game?
Oh, I can look it up.
Because now we have one more added to the telly list.
So this is not like the official counter. I don't know how up to date this is, but if I go to the thing that tells me what is, we have, as far as I know, 5 champions and like 12 victims.
Holy crap!
So it's like 1 in
6
3
now.
No, that's including him.
Oh my really? God! Wow.
So there's like a 33% chance of defeat.
All right.
That's wild.
Congratulations, Wavy F. Thank you for having a fantastic microphone. Thank you for being so much fun.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your potatoes. And we will see you next time on Does Mitsugi's Mom Know at a future date? Maybe, maybe not. But either way, thanks for being a fan. And we will talk to you soon.
We can be a tournament now of all the winners.
That'd be so much, my dude.
Catch you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So we have a happy winner from Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? And we will have some more of these in the future because I did record enough for 3 more games. So we will have 3 more games of Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? But for now, I think it's
encourage people to get back on it. Let me know on Discord if you want to compete. You'll get a call out and see if you can join the ranks of the victors.
Yet another reason to join the Discord.
Indeed.
All right, and now it's time for our review of Komi.
Woo woo.
Whoop woo. So this was a very anticipated review. A lot of people were very excited when Komi Can't Communicate was announced as an anime. I passed this show back on episode 600. This is the fall 2021 show. And yeah, so if you are unfamiliar with Komi Can't Communicate, it's all about a girl named Komi. She is gorgeous. People are obsessed with her because she is so beautiful. She's the Madonna of her high school. They only just started in the
You're looking so fine.
Yeah. So even by the first day, people are just obsessed with her because she is so beautiful. However, she is really bad at communicating, talking with other people. In fact, she hardly ever talks to anyone. So therefore, she just clams up, does not really have many friends, but her goal in life is to make 100 friends, even though she can't talk. And that is basically the premise of the show. It is by Studio OLM. They also did Odd Taxi. And So, Mason, what were your expectations going into this?
So, I have read a bit of the manga, and I think it is incredibly overrated. I mean, it's a comedy, and it's not my thing, and it's very hard to recommend comedies for or against, and I just went into it, and it just seemed very samey. The same joke was, she can't say words, comedy. And it wasn't my thing, so I had very low expectations going into this show.
Mitsugi?
I had very high expectations of this. I haven't read the manga. I think that Mandy about lost her shit when this was going to get an anime made. It has a good score online. People talk about it. Komi was she was tied for best girl in our anime Oscars. The anime itself was in a couple categories. So there's really no reason for me to expect that the show wasn't going to be really good. And that's, so that was my expectation going in. I didn't really know much about it other than that. I didn't even know it was a comedy. I knew the premise basically, but that's about it.
Yeah, I also had pretty high expectations going into it. Also had not read the manga, but of course I heard so much about it. People were just raving about it. So I was excited to watch it, and I really, of course, I enjoyed the first few episodes of the show. So that's why I passed it. I also knew it was going to pass anyway because listener's choice. But yeah, so let's head into our spoiler-free recommendations. Mason.
You should watch episode 1. Episode 1 is quite good. It's really the best foot forward for the show, and it's a good wrap-up of the whole experience, so you can feel content with watching episode 1. As a whole, the show looks pretty great. If you like the source material, you must be thrilled because it is a fantastic adaptation besides some pacing issues for the most part, and really captures what the manga does so well. It is a comedy more than anything else, which means that it really doesn't go anywhere plot-wise, and for me personally, because of the comedy and the characters that say these quote-unquote funny things are not 100% seasoned to my liking, I personally was not a big fan of the show, but I see what people enjoy about it, so watch episode 1. But if someone was like, oh, is Mason going to recommend the show? Mason is not going to.
All right, Mitsugi.
For me, this anime was shocking at first. I think episode 1 was a 5 out of 5. I think that it's one of the best first episodes I've ever seen in an anime. I got a little choked up watching it. It set the bar extremely high. I was actually totally taken aback by it. And then after that, the show just nosedives. I would honestly not recommend Komi. I'm not a fan of gag comedies. I'm not a fan of slice of life, really. But I'm especially not a fan when they're combined. Really, I don't like gag comedies. I can get by with a slice of life if it's done well. Gag comedies never land for me. I'm going to try to not be quite so negative with Komi because there's definitely some good things about the show. I also think that there's a trigger warning to be said for people that actually have social anxiety because I don't think they handle it very well in this show. I think people have very likely potential of being flat out offended by this anime. And so people should be aware of that for sure. But overall, I think that, man, it was just very disappointing to see what the show became after the first episode. And that's about it. So I wouldn't really recommend it, honestly. I don't know. It also has pretty much no plot line. So I wouldn't recommend Komi.
So for me, I can definitely see a lot of your points, and I do agree with a lot of them. For me, though, I think I would recommend Komi. I think at the very least, the production of Komi is amazing. The animation and it just looks so good. The music is good. I love Komi and I love Tadano. I think they are really great main characters. Everyone else, though, and supporting characters are not great. It's a lot of them are a lot. They are zany, they are insane, they are uncomfortable at some points. And if it was just Komi and Tadano, I think I would like the show a whole lot more than it ended up being. And the first episode, I agree, is a great first episode, mainly because it doesn't leave a lot of time for the zany gag jokes that kind of take up the rest of the episodes. So definitely watch episode 1, but expect that the next episodes of the rest of the show to be a little more focused on the comedy rather than the drama that the premise set it up to be. Which I think that this show has a lot of great components. If you were to look at it like a I don't know, like a soundboard with all those like switches going up and down, if you just take the soundboard of this show and adjust the switches a little bit, bring down the gag jokes, bring up the drama, keep the characters, the main characters where they are, and bring down the supporting cast a little bit, I think this would be a freaking fantastic show. At the very least, it is a great production of the manga, so if you love the manga, highly recommend.
There we go.
And so,
spoiler time? There's not
spoiler
a ton to
time.
spoil, so, and I'm sure most of you guys have already watched the show anyway. But spoilers are coming.
Oh my god!
Oh
Where
boy.
do we start?
So much to talk about.
I think that first episode is the place to start. It starts with Komi and Tadano meeting each other in the school, and it's the very beautiful moment actually when Komi starts to communicate with Tadano by using the chalkboard and by writing things on paper, and she really just gets like this sense of excitement because she's having a genuine conversation with somebody, even though it's on the chalkboard and not verbal. And she can't really talk to him, but she's able to write. And they just like skip gym class and write this, like, they just take the whole chalkboard up writing these conversations, and it's just really beautiful. And you kind of get the sense that like maybe a romance is going to happen because they've got this instant connection. And for a girl like Komi, and I'm presuming because I don't know, but I would think that there'd be a very powerful bond that could become romantic when a person like Komi, who really hasn't been able to communicate with people, finds somebody that like understands her and is actually able to have a back and forth. And I kind of thought that's where we were going, honestly, with the anime. And I'm like, oh, this is going to become like this beautiful sort of show where like she's able to like overcome her her anxiety issues and is able to actually like communicate with people, and he's going to be the catalyst that's going to help that happen. And episode 1 was just like a little like tight in my chest. I was like, ooh, this is very, very beautiful. If we had stopped the show right there, it would have been a 5. For me, this was up there with like Cross Game's first episode, Monster, some of these other shows that just have like blow you out of your shoe first episodes. But it just doesn't, it just totally lets
follow through with it.
Yeah, like the letdown after episode 1 was so severe because all the things I thought the show might had become, none of them were realized, and the show just seems happy being like a slapstick gag comedy with a lot of really weird characters that honestly Komi doesn't develop at all in this first season. It's I'm sure people are going to say, read the manga because 900 chapters further she finally gets around to it. I'm like, okay, fine, but like I'm not gonna watch 63 episodes of the anime for her to come get around to it. I don't know if you guys felt the same way.
Well, definitely the first episode was great. I mean, that chalkboard scene is probably it is a great scene, especially since it's quiet. All you hear is like the chalk marks and some really pretty music behind it, and it's a great scene and episode. And I didn't feel the drop as severely as you guys did for some reason. I still thought I was still enjoying the show for the most part until the end, although I did pick up some not so positive feelings towards it, which I will get to in a second. But honestly, overall, I feel like it had such a great premise with that first episode, and like your ideas, like where is it gonna go and how is it gonna go, if it's gonna be more of a drama than a comedy. And I feel like that premise and great production just felt kind of wasted on this gag comedy that wasn't really all that funny.
Yeah. It was a good first episode. No complaints there. The show was just felt so bland. Like there were so many times where it felt like a Teletubbies episode where they would show us what happened and then rewind time to show us the same thing that happened from another perspective that added no new information. Or like episodes where like we're watching someone watching someone watching someone, where we're following the same story beats of Komi is going to a restaurant to order. The exact same thing happens. They're running a foot race. The exact same thing happens. And it was like all these repeated things where it wasn't even new gags. It was just the same things recycled with the same characters. Like there was so much repetition. And at the same time, it felt paced so quickly. Like there's that sample, they go to a sports festival and it like rains for 2 seconds and Komi's mom comes by and everyone's like, oh, it's Komi's mom. And then she leaves and it's sunny again. It's like, that was probably a longer scene in the manga, but they were just trying to get so many different beats in that it just felt rushed. And I think the big deal that I want to get to and to drive the discussion is, I think everyone's worship of Komi kind of drags the show down. Because everyone loves her regardless. It doesn't force any change in her. It doesn't forge any connections. She's all about making friends. But are they really friends, or are they just anyone will do? This person threatens and ties up your best friend, and she's like, well, I mean, I guess if it counts as a friend, you can be my friend. Like, it's such a... I know the whole 100 friends is just an arbitrary goal in a pursuit, and this isn't some shonen manga where we have to get a new friend every episode, but it just felt so shallow on what could have been an emotionally resonant. And maybe that's just all of us saying we want a drama, not a comedy, but we just want something that's entertaining and insightful and gives us a reason to watch.
And that was that was my main thing that I found negative about this show, is the whole friend thing. Because again, as you said, they are not friends. Like, the class is mostly made up of people that are still worshiping Komi as if she is a goddess and not a person. They don't know anything about her. They fall at her feet, and she knows that they are not really, she knows that they don't know her. And yet they still refer to them as friends, but they're not friends. They are like borderline psychotic. I mean, there are some friends that she makes that I can see like, okay, so they start off as worshiping her a little bit in a little strange way, but honestly, by the end of it, I think they could become friends. Like the Chunibyo girl. I think, as weird as she is at first, I think that could delve in, and I can create a
they went to each other's house,
sincere friendship.
Game. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and so there's her. Najimi, as zany as she is, I think she has good intentions, and at times I found her to be a little bit fun. So that's also another sincere friend I think she can make. But the girl that ties up Tadano and kidnaps him and threatens him with death and has an orgasm every single time Komi speaks, I don't think she's a friend. I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah. Also, don't think that like the girl who constantly finds competition with Komi, the girl that speaks in temperature degrees, I really don't understand what that
the one who
character
speaks
was
like
about.
a Pokemon fire gym leader.
I don't know
90
what
degrees,
the
super
heck
hot.
the
I can't
character was.
handle it.
It's the characters like that just don't make any sense. Oh,
I didn't
the dog girl, good. That was so freaking weird. Wow, that was weird.
Honestly, I don't really buy the premise of the show at all, because I mean, you really gotta stop for a second and consider what friends are. Ideally, everybody has a few friends in their life that genuinely care about you, that would go an extra mile for you, that would bail you out of a big issue, that are there because they want to and they will talk. They'll listen to you talk about your problems, and they're there to support you. Those are your friends. But no one has 100 of those people. It's impossible. You can't maintain them. You can't keep up with 100 people. And when you're in high school, most of the people in high school aren't genuine friends like that. They are just there. You see them every day. Maybe they come to a birthday party. But as soon as you graduate from high school, they're gone. And that's pretty much how it is for most people. I think we've all experienced this. But I don't really buy the premise of the show, because there's a scene in episode 3 where there's like this group of like the cool kids, like the popular kids in the classroom, so to speak, like playing some game. And Tadano's like, oh, we can't go play games with them because that's like the popular crowd or whatever. Well, they go anyway. They go to like talk to them anyway. And within like 30 seconds, Komi's like completely accepted by them, playing games with them. She can't talk, but they're still playing games, and everyone's just like having a good time, and she easily integrates. And like, I get it, like they all worship her, and it's very weird, but that's about as good as you're gonna get in high school, because people aren't mature enough to even give a shit about anything past like with the flavor of their like fucking candy in their lunch or whatever. So I just don't buy the premise. I think that Komi is probably more capable of making friends in that school than most people, because they've painted her into a role where she is literally titled goddess of the classroom. And maybe there are people in the classroom that quote unquote idolize her versus being her real friends, but that's a situation that a lot of people are going to be in. And I'm sure she's able to carve out a few people in the class that would generally care about her the way that Tadano does. But everybody seems to at least be interested in taking the time to be around Komi. It's like she effortlessly has people fall at her feet for attention. I mean, you want my opinion? Most people don't get that kind of treatment in high school, and you got to start with something in a friendship. So I honestly, I don't even know why we're even having an anime about whether or not Komi can make friends. As far as I can tell, she's more equipped to do it than anybody. Anybody else buy that?
How else are you going to have a character have cat ears and be cute and sell the idea and just look like a vibrating Funko Pop for half the episode?
Yeah, on that note.
With that, even so, I thought, like, why... even before I watched the show, I was like, okay, everybody seems to love Komi as a character and think she's the cutest thing. I'm not going to fall for it. And then I watched the show, and I'm like, damn, Komi is just freaking adorable with the cat ears. Like, she is very cute. I'm one of them now.
I'm going to say something nice now.
Fan.
So I'll say something nice now. The show is beautiful. It looks great. I think that the animation's quite good. There were a couple spots where I was like, wow, the animation really is quite strong. It doesn't even need to be. This is like a show where you can get by with just people walking around and talking. But I thought it looked really good. I thought the animation was excellent. Komi's really cute. That's a strong point of the show. When she gets real excited and the cat ears pop out, like Mason said, that's really cute. I love it. Tadano is a good character. He's like not a dirtbag for once. He's just a good guy.
And he's not like the bland protagonist that on par with a lot of the other bland protagonists that you kind of just insert yourself with. I mean, he is kind of you can certainly do that with Tadano, but I feel like he is a lot more pleasant, not just basic.
Yeah. They do a good job of making him like the pinnacle of what being average is, but still having a personality and volition, and not just a audience stand-in. He's a good guy.
He gets friend zoned instantly, but
Komi loves Tadano.
Oh, he is deep in the friend zone.
No, but the only thing keeping her, Komi back is the fact that anybody likes somebody, they're going to try to keep it a secret, but also she can't communicate. So
we'll see where that goes. Maybe
take a shot every time we say something about Komi on not being able to communicate. I do want to echo though. The show does look good, better than it has any right to. It just looks great. I like how their hair gets frazzled when they either get like a head pat or a fan smacks them, like their hair kind of distorts and gets disheveled. I think that's a nice touch. It's no Akebi, but there is quite a lot of feet in the show as well. Like when she's like in the changing room, they always show her feet, even though if she's wearing shoes, and that was a little strange. The one thing visually I didn't like about the show is kind of a standover from the manga, in which they have these little text boxes point to things, which you can do in a manga to point out what's going on action-wise, but it seemed a little weird in an anime where she will like walk into a store, walk out, and then walk back in, but then they have a text box that tells you what you're watching. It seemed like, or it'll point to her phone that she's holding and texting on and say, Komi's phone. Like, it seems like it's trying to over-communicate in a way, like it itself is having a hard time communicating, and it seemed a little like, obviously it's what I'm watching, and I get it, that's how it is in the manga, but I didn't love that inclusion.
I liked it. I mean, I feel like with that kind of stuff, and also like the visualization of I don't know what it's called in the Japanese manga, but the kind of like the automatopoeias, like tap 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 tap. Like they often animate those. Yeah. They animate those, and they do a lot of interesting comedic things with the editing, which honestly, whatever I found funny about this show was because of the editing. And it it goes over the top with it, and I love it.
I guess more times than not, it felt like it was explaining the joke
Yeah,
in a way that
maybe.
already was like not that great. So I grew tired of it in that regard. But I did like one of my favorite parts is finding out the little like funny like puns in the kanji and the characters' names. Like it was a fun little like, oh, this is what does Tadano mean? What does Aguri mean? Like stuff like that. That was a nice little haha funny.
What was it? Oh, there was something I was gonna say, but I forgot what it was.
Animation wise, hair wise. Why
I got
so much feet?
While Caroline's thinking of that, I gotta say, this show, I had some problems with this anime. You are all aware of it because I popped off, but like how do I say? Social anxiety is not cute. It's not. Mental illness is not a cute thing to be worshipped and idolized. And this anime, I think, is pretty offensive. Actually, I'm not often offended, but I'll speak for myself and other people that are close to me. That Komi being like, first of all, Japan is very bad at mental illness. They always have been. They're trying to get better, but Japan is a country that is well documented, and it's not even an arguable point that Japan is well documented to, one, ignore mental illness, deny that it exists, and not get people help because the concept of face in Japan is still a thing, and families go, oh, wow, my kid might be obviously autistic or something, but I can't take them for therapy or take them to a psychiatrist because it'll shame my family, and so they'll just let their kids like suffer forever. So, first of all, Komi has the worst fucking parents that ever lived because this is beyond social anxiety. She is like basically non-functioning as a human and needs to have mental help. But the show never addresses that. It never becomes like a thing where they address mental illness as, a serious problem. All they do is make a joke out of it and make it this thing that like, oh, I wish I had like crippling social anxiety or phobia because then everybody will love me. Ha ha ha. And like, they just make a joke out of it the whole time. And they clearly know nothing about it because Komi would not be like prancing around the mall like all happy-go-lucky and all this shit if she really had those kinds of issues. So the portrayal of it is totally false, but they also just totally disrespect and misrepresent and flat out just make a joke out of mental health issues. And by the way, the school in the beginning of the show is quote-unquote a school for weird people, which Komi is, I guess, weird because she has social anxiety. And there's also like LGBT people in the show that are apparently weird because they're in the weird school. So like this show is like super offensive for like a number of reasons, but apparently gets just swept under the rug because, I don't know, we pick and choose our battles. Like, I don't know. Did anybody else pick up on that at all? Because Pancake was fucking pissed watching this anime. She was fucking pissed.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it certainly isn't really great with being tactful with like these kind of things. I could have done with a little less of the joking as well. Like in so many of the situations, especially coming from Najimi is the one that keeps on pushing Komi into extremely uncomfortable situations that obviously she doesn't want to be in. And I know that there's this whole thing when a person has like social anxieties and other situations like that, they might be suggested to basically conquer their fears by forcing themselves into these situations, which is kind of what Najimi does to Komi. But Najimi shouldn't be doing that. Regardless, it's supposed to be with suggestion by like a therapist.
Well, I mean, they just take her anxiety and use it as comedy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not funny.
How many times do we need Najimi to say, "Oh, buy me this complicated thing in the restaurant"? She goes to the restaurant, walks out of the restaurant, goes back inside the restaurant, doesn't say anything. The whoever the server is says, "I know what you want." Gives them thing. They return to Najimi. He's like, "Haha, this isn't what I wanted," and then they apologize profusely to Komi. Like, what? Like, what am I supposed to get out of that?
Yeah.
What message? What lesson? What comedy? What?
And they also do it several times.
Yeah, they do, and it's kind of what grew tiring. Not counting all the stuff that Mitch just mentioned.
I just get really frustrated because, and I'm not trying to call anybody or any group of people out here, but like, we seem to decide what is and isn't objectionable, and particularly in anime, because there's anime that I think are way less offensive than this one, that like the whole anime community is just like ready to burn down the world about, But then like some anime comes along like Maid Dragon where we're basically we want to have sex with like 15-year-olds with giant breasts, or like this show, and we just like totally ignore the fact that they're just as offensive as, you know, plenty of other anime, but like for some reason this doesn't really seem to be worth fighting for. And then like, you know, but like Redo of Healer is like a pariah, but like you know, and everybody's offended by different things at a different level, but you know, making fun of people that have like mental health problems is just as offensive as Redo of Healer in my opinion. But like no one seems to care. No one seems to care about this anime. I never heard anybody bitch about it. So I don't know why this happens. I feel like
with this show, they are distracted by the fact that Komi is cute, and they make these jokes. So they're not focusing on what is happening here. You know, they're not focusing on the fact that this is actually a thing that people deal with, and they don't notice that they're actually poking fun at that.
I guess so. I mean, it's you know, it sort of ruined the experience for me, and honestly, like I'm not gonna like argue about it anymore. Like I said what I needed to say, but I think mental health problems is something that's worth fighting for sure. You know, I never had social anxiety this bad, but I was definitely the person forcing myself to go on like the party bus for Halloween with people I didn't know because I was trying to like overcome, you know, being a pretty solid introvert and fought pretty hard to get to extrovert, or maybe in the middle somewhere. But like, I don't know, it's just worth thinking about.
Oh yeah, and I remembered the one thing that I was going to say, that because I know a lot of people were talking about this show when it first came out, and the fact that because it's on Netflix, they don't translate all of the things that are written that you can see on screen, which people are getting very frustrated by. And especially, I think the only time that I really wanted to read everything that was on the screen was during the first episode chalkboard scene, because then they are talking about all these different random things, and it's such a sweet, wholesome thing to know, like, beautiful. They know this about each other, like these random little things, which I think is just a very sweet thing to actually read about on the screen. But unfortunately, with Netflix the way it is, they can't translate everything the way you might find it on Crunchyroll or some of the fan subs and all that. But yeah, I'd kind of wish I could read everything on screen, but I can understand why not.
Yeah, I ended up not watching this on Netflix because of that. I found a different site that would allow me to actually, you know, get all the material. And I know in the dub, which I did sample just to, you know, do my due diligence, they would have the narrator read a lot more of those signs and text boxes than they would have in the Japanese, because they didn't need to read it because you can read it. So that kind of like cluttered it with just more noise, which I thought was an interesting way of going about it. But yeah, it would have been a bummer to miss a lot of that, because there is a lot of the jokes and humor to be pulled out of that.
Did you enjoy the dub?
I didn't listen to very much of it, so
I watched it.
Yeah, what was your take on it then, Mitch?
I mean, it was okay. It was fine. I mean, it's like, I don't know. The characters though are so crazy in this. Like most of these characters are just, they're very strange. They're just like the girl that like licks the hair or licks Komi's hair and stuff. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of the characters, they're dubbed, but they're like screaming and flailing around a lot. So it's not like much of a serious performance. It's mostly like a lot of yelling and, you know, girls screaming about like breasts and all this. It's just, I don't know. It's fine. I mean, I didn't have a problem with the dub. The voices aren't like annoying or anything, and Netflix sometimes does a bad job with their dubs, but it was okay. So it was fine.
Anything else that we can talk about?
Yeah, the plot line didn't really go. I think it was a wasted plot line. I think that there were like several places that this anime could have gone, and maybe it still will. But one, they could have got Komi some help, and maybe she starts to improve over the course of the show, and then maybe people watching the show go, wow, mental health problems are real, and we can actually address these and do and, you know, help people. Like, that would have been a good place to put it. Or maybe Tadano actually like works with her, and she starts to like open up through him and starts to overcome some of her problems, and they kind of like tackle it together, and it becomes like this beautiful thing. That never happened. So there's a season 2 coming out next season, so I don't know if we're going to get that, but this anime story was so shallow that I actually didn't watch episodes 7 through 10 because I was suffering, and I was like, I can't sit through this shit. And I skipped like 4 episodes, and I didn't miss a beat. I missed like they literally went through like the sports day episode, the culture day episode. It's just like every trope that you can have from a school anime. And by skipping episodes 7 through 10, I missed nothing. And I think that's a big issue because it just shows that there's really no story. Like, there's no plot line here. It really is just a gag comedy. And I really thought it was a drama. So, you know, I swung and missed on that one. But, yeah, I don't know. I wish they had done more with it.
Yeah, it is too bad because I feel like we all would have enjoyed the show had it been a drama and not a comedy.
It would have been awesome.
Or if it was a funny comedy. Like
That was
Sakamoto
also true.
is another example. It's a gag comedy. It goes nowhere. And, you know, it has a weird, eccentric protagonist. But, like, it's
That
just
everybody
so
loves.
zany. And it's so goofy that, like, you know it's going to end up well, but you don't know how it's going to get there. And it takes a crazy path every time. Whereas this is just the same predictable things happen. And the same predictable nothing happens. And it's just so rote and... Like, if you're going to be zany, you got to go all out, not just have wacky characters. So, I don't know. I get why people love the show. I applaud them for liking it. I'm not taking anything away from it. It's just not for me. I thought the OP was super fun.
It is good.
Yeah.
I love Cider Girl. Their album Soda Pop Fan Club #1. 2 and 3 are okay. #1 is phenomenal. It's got a lot of bite, and it's really good. So check out Cider Girl. They're a good band.
Captain Avatar asks how I know if I missed anything if I skipped episodes. Well, it's because it doesn't.
It's because I'm telling you that you missed nothing.
I mean, I know I missed nothing because there was no extra character. There was no Komi wasn't like suddenly talking. Like there's absolutely no. Normally, you'd like if I skipped 4 episodes of Jobless Reincarnation, I'd be like, where are they? What is happening? I don't understand. Oh, it's like, Rudius's dad is here? Like, when did that happen? No, this anime is just like, it was a seamless transition from episode 7 to episode 11. I mean, that's pretty much how you can tell.
What about the deep arc of Komi smiling at a baby slightly, and then that same baby, her smiling at it later?
I don't know. It's such a shame. It's such a shame because Komi is really a good character. I like her a lot. She's a good character. You know, and I really think that I would have liked the show a lot more if it had just been more about Komi and less about the crazy side, like, classmates. Because they are fucking crazy. Like, there's...
Yeah. If it could just be Komi and Tadano, this would be a whole lot better. And maybe some of their less insane classmates.
I mean, they could have had classmates. They're important in the concept, clearly, because it's about, like, friends and whatever. But they're just really wacky. Like, they're, like... The girl's, like... picking Komi's hair off her clothes and eating it, and like the girl that wants to, I don't know. It's just there's every character in the show that's not the main 2 characters are really bizarre. Like the girl, like the person that's wearing like half a suit of armor in the classroom.
Yeah, honestly, I could not remember who that was, but then you mentioned
I think that's
it.
season 2 stuff.
No, it's not.
So.
No.
Like there's, I think she'll play a bigger role.
Well, maybe, but there's definitely a scene in the first few episodes where they're like having a conversation at the front of the classroom. And the girl's wearing like a suit of armor from like the waist down.
Like she shows up at the karaoke at the end too. Honestly, I didn't mind the pink-haired girl who was like hyper competitive with Komi.
Yeah, she was okay.
She was just like, oh, she's a rival, and I want to like be better than her. But like, she wasn't like imposing on Komi's like bubble. So not saying she was good, but I'm saying at least like that was a little more digestible.
It's also pretty weird how Komi is. I mean, she's like. I don't know. It's like Komi is the goddess of the classroom. They win the culture festival because she's the waitress. She wins every sports event. She touches water, it turns to wine. She kisses a baby, and the baby's cured of all ailments. She looks at the sun and the sky, and all pollution in the world disappears.
And the sun blushes.
All people that were unable to conceive children are suddenly fertile. Everybody's happy. It's just like ridiculous. I haven't seen a character this I don't even know what to say. Jesus-like. She's just like perfect. Everything's perfect.
She's the female Sakamoto.
Walks and she's like the wolf from Okami. She walks on the ground and like flowers bloom. She's the forest spirit from Princess Mononoke. Flowers just spring up where her footfalls land. It's like it's just crazy. Like, wow. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have.
I think we're probably ready to rate it.
I think so.
So, Mason.
I go first?
Yeah.
I want to start off saying I recommend, if you like Komi-san, watch The Adorable Senryu Girl. It's a 12-minute long episode show, so they're snappier, they're punchier, and that actually has more comedy and more emotional resonance and depth. And it has a way less annoying sub-characters than Komi. So watch Senryu Girl if you want something more like this to tide you over 20 days until Komi-san Season 2 starts. That said, as an adaptation, Komi is fantastic. It's marred only by the pacing and a couple choices here and there, but overall, just the source material is not for me. So such a good adaptation of that means that the show is just not for me. And maybe it's just my knee-jerk reaction to a show getting so much acclaim to be like, actually, it's not average. And I would say it's a little bit less than average. So I'm going to give it 2 physics-defying cat errors out of 5.
Mitsugi?
I thought the first episode was marvelous. It was just everything I wanted. Everything I want in a drama. They nailed it. And then everything after that was a gag comedy. And, it didn't rise for me far above the ranks of, just run-of-the-mill school rumble, like kids, punching each other and making fart jokes and being crazy. And it just didn't offer anything past that first episode. And, and so, I've already said everything I need to say. I'm going to give Komi, I don't know, two pieces of notebook paper with my thoughts on it out of 5. I don't even know what to say.
Overall, I enjoyed Komi, although I had to kind of push my feelings aside about some of the more not so great parts of it, as we've all talked about. It is gorgeous. The first episode is great. At least watch the first episode, then you'll actually get something out of that. But overall, all I can think about is the one thing that we really wanted to watch was something similar to A Silent Voice, which is as a lot of similar story beats about a girl who can't speak, writes on a note paper, or she can't hear in a silent voice, but she still writes on note paper. And it's about social anxiety, and it's about people trying to make friends with each other, even if they have a lot of differences with each other. And it's a great movie and a fantastic manga, and highly recommend. But unfortunately, that's not what this is. This is Komi Can't Communicate. But honestly, I did enjoy it. I think I would watch season 2, because just for Komi and just for Tadano, because they are adorable. So I think I would have to give this show 3 non-communicative Komis out of 5.
There we go. Imagine 3 Komis. What a time
3
to be alive.
Komis. The world would explode.
We're gonna end up
3 Komis in this economy? Not possible.
We're gonna end up watching season 2 of this. I know it, and I do not want to watch it. It's just not worth the payoff. Like, I'm sure she's gonna come around eventually, but it'll probably be in a really unrealistic way. Because Komi does not have social anxiety. It's stronger than that. She's probably on the spectrum somewhere, So I don't know. I hope they get Komi the help she needs. She's very cute and deserves it.
Yeah.
There we go.
And I'd pat her on the head. Yeah, that'd be a bad idea. I wouldn't lick her hair or anything. I wouldn't talk about
Yeah,
sucking on her
none of
toes.
that.
But I'd pat her on the head and say, "Good job. You're doing a good job."
Good job, Komi.
Well, good job, listeners. You guys are very cute, and we love you. And thank you for hanging out with us on episode 618 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Hopefully you love Komi. Hopefully we didn't upset you too bad. Follow us on Twitter at AAA Podcast. Follow us on TikTok, Discord, Facebook. Just go to our website, aapodcast.com. All the links are there. It's really the place to be. Submit the mailbag. Submit the reviews. Be so generous. Buy us more sunglasses with
Please
promoting us with hentai episodes, hobby addicts, all that fun bonus content. Next week we have The World's Finest Assassin, and then a lot more words because it's a light novel anime. Yay! But then we're on the verge. We're on the verge of some 2 core shows. We have so much in store for you guys.
So started.
Stick around. Love having you, and have a great week. Thanks so much for hanging out. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.